Hi, it's David Bauer. Welcome to part 3 of this 3-part series on how to talk to a girl. In this third part, we're going to talk about overthinking our initial approach when we're going to talk to a woman and why that's a bad thing. So we as humans in general tend to overthink a lot when it comes to doing something that might be a little scary. And this is also true for when we as men go to make that first approach with a woman. By the end of this video, you'll be able to stop yourself from overthinking your initial approach to the woman so that you can just go up and start creating attraction with her. By the way, if you haven't yet seen part 1 of this series where I talk about how to place yourself in a mental state such that approaching women will never be a problem for you again, or part 2 where I talk about why you might suffer from approach anxiety when it comes to approaching women, I highly recommend you watch those videos next. I'm going to go ahead and include the links for those videos in the description below. Now, when it comes to approaching women, lots of guys think they need to have the perfect line or the perfect approach. And the reality is that that same bunch of guys ends up spending so much time on the approach that they miss out on the opportunity to even go up and talk to her at all. And you've probably even been in that scenario yourself, where you've tried to come up with the perfect thing to say, only to have her leave the room before you ever got the chance to actually say it. Now, first of all, I'd like to point out that the reason that we do this is very understandable. So we don't want to suffer the pain of rejection because in our minds, that's like death. Our brains see rejection as a very bad thing because it means we basically get kicked out of the tribe. And we get to try and survive completely on our own forever. Now, obviously, in today's world, this is preposterous, but you got to remember that your brain still has and always will have its very old ways of thinking. So I want to give you a strategy for overcoming that overthinking when it comes time to approach a woman. The first thing I want to give you is psychology, okay? So the mindset. Now, the first thing you need to understand is that if you try and over-prepare a line or an approach, it's going to sound and look candid. Now, she is going to pick up on that right away because she's seen it a million times. And she's going to read it as you're not coming across as being authentic. That's a bad thing. Instead, think of this as a normal conversation that you've had a million times before. You're just going to have a normal conversation with this girl and just let the conversation flow naturally. The second thing I'm going to call your attention to is confidence. Have some confidence in yourself that you can, in fact, hold a conversation with this person and you don't need to depend on those candid pickup lines or the perfect swagger in your walk as you're approaching her. By the way, if you do have to walk up to her, keep your head up and your shoulders back, okay? Look confident. Now, I make a note here, try not to look like a 2x4 as you're doing this. As for your voice tone, maintain a confident and conversational tone just like you would if you were talking to somebody that you'd known for a very long time. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is technique. Now, I'd like to point out, I'm not suggesting pickup lines here. I am suggesting that you have a few conversation starters or openers in your back pocket. Okay, something to get the conversation going. Again, this is not, can I buy you a drink? This is sincere and direct openers. For example, let's say she's looking at an item on a shelf and you're curious about that item. You ask her about a detail about that item. Now, I'd like to point out the objective here is to get her talking. In conclusion, keep your psychology positive and focused on having a natural conversation with this woman. Maintain a confidence that you can and will have a great conversation with her and have a few techniques in your back pocket to keep the conversation alive and going. If you maintain these 3 rules and you practice them, you will start having incredible conversations with women all the time. Now, I do go deeper on the topic of psychological attraction, confidence, etc. in my courses, workshops, and one-on-one coaching. And if you're interested in any of that, I have included the links below. Now, I know it can be hard to ask for help when it comes to meeting and attracting women. Believe me, I know, I've been there. But I also want you to know that learning this stuff is one of the most beneficial things you can do in your life. I've experienced incredible success using this stuff, and I want you to experience that incredible success too. So yeah, go ahead and check out the links below. And that's the tip for this week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, share with your friends, leave a comment, and yeah, check out those links. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And as always, get out there and ace it.